Hello and welcome back to Our Life Beginnings and Always. I'm sorry about that, having to do that little backup every single time. It's just kind of weird that way, but it's the way things are in this world. How are we all doing today? I'm a little tired, maybe low energy. I'm hoping I can build the energy, but we've done most of the fun moments. Boating wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be, My friend does talk about how this game kind of loses its luster at the adult stage. You don't feel like the magic as much, and I feel like that. Especially because every moment wants to hammer home this whole, the future is coming, you're graduating high school, what are you gonna do after high school, Every moment they have to slip some of that in there, which is annoying. It's like, I get it, when you're that age, that's what you're thinking about a lot, but can we just enjoy our summer? Oh, boy. Yeah, well, it's that time. Speaking of enjoying our summer and me not having a lot of energy, it's time. It's time to do this. This is probably, actually, this might be the one I need right now. Because I don't have, I'm tired, like I said, I probably don't want to record too long. And I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty short moment with the choices that I make in this moment, in this, because Marina is going to be a very different person than Sorrow Fairchild, and that's always how it goes. Light filtered down through the leaves of an oak tree overhead. This is weird to think that this is a DLC moment, now that I think about it. I thought this was a standard moment, but it's not. Anyway, light filtered down through the leaves of an oak tree overhead, casting speckled shadows on the sidewalk all around you. There was a drop of sweat slowly making its way down the side of your face. Hey, at least we're not at home complaining about how bored we are with the summer. You flicked it away with your thumb, slowing to a stop in the cool shade. The day had you out and about in town, in no hurry to go anywhere in particular. Your morning shift had just ended, and there was nothing else you planned for the rest of the afternoon. Oh, probably because we work. We can't just sit around and be lazy at home. I wish I could pick what my job is. I think later I can. Maybe I can't. Your moms were still at work themselves, and Liz had left early in the morning to do something. You had no idea what. You took out your phone, idly noting the time when it started to jingle. The screen lit up in your hand. Speak of the devil, Liz messaged you. Come home ASAP. Before you could even begin to question why, your phone went off again. Nothing bad, but you have to see this, so come back already. And with that final message, you were left only slightly less confused than you were before. You hadn't seen much of your sister lately. She'd been acting strange for days, always shutting herself up in her room. Which wouldn't be so weird if at the dinner table, she didn't suddenly start smirking to herself over nothing. The rare times you did see her, she would sneak you expectant looks like she was waiting to be asked what was up, but all your questions led nowhere. Oh, jeez, now my headphones are doing their thing. She'd answer you with that put-upon sigh, proclaim that she was busy, and tell you that she would have to talk about it later. Yeah, more Liz being Liz. It's kinda, this character, I thought she'd grow up and be more interesting as an adult, but she really doesn't. She's still the same kind of teenage brat, just with more adult responsibilities. No hints, no guessing, whatever it was, she was determined to keep it a secret. Maybe now you'd finally find out what it was. And this is the moment where that all comes out. This is also the moment where Marina's gonna be a good sister. You'll see. As you did, so this is kind of the culmination of our sibling relationship with Liz in this one, which is what I'm excited for. As you did an about face on the sidewalk and started heading home, you received more texts. To your surprise, the name that popped up on the screen this time was Coves. Did you hear from Liz about some urgent thing you have to see? She messaged Cove too. You weren't surprised. Liz teased him about, but he was like family. However, you were struggling to understand how he was fit into Liz's surprise. Yeah, Liz sent me the same thing. What, is there something on fire? Why would Liz tell you her news? Yeah, Liz sent me the same thing. His reply came only seconds later as you waited across the street. I figured she would. Are you gonna see what's up? I'm walking there now. Me too. Glancing up, you saw the light had changed to a walk sign while you were busy texting. You hurriedly wrapped things up, texting Cove a quick goodbye before crossing the street. It was fine. You'd be seeing it later anyway. Not expecting any more messages, you put your phone away so you could walk without having to worry about tripping over the curb. Thankfully, it was a short trek home, and soon enough you were walking up your street, the familiar face of your house already in view. Thinking of what might be waiting at home was making you worried, left you entirely lost. She wouldn't worry about it, but she wouldn't care. She wouldn't be excited about it either. And the more you learned, the more questions you had. They were all buzzing around in your head, too many to pick out and make sense of. Lost in your thoughts, you almost didn't see who was walking further up the street, Cove. Even from the back, the bright sea green color of his hair was unmistakable. You quickened your pace to catch up to him, and the scuff of your shoes loud against the pavement. He heard it instantly, not missing a beat as he turned toward you and slowed his steps in sync.
Hey.
Hi. Here we are at my house. At my house. At that, Cove gave you a wry smile. Here we are. At my house. At that, Cove gave you a wry smile. Here we are. It sounded almost like a question, wondering why the two of you had been summoned there. Any ideas on what Liz wants us for? You shook your head. The situation was out of character for your sister. Anything could happen. Well, I guess we should go in and find out. Taking his cue, you grabbed your keys and opened up the front door. Cove trailed behind you as you entered. You walked through the open door and peered about, not sure what you were looking for. From the entryway, you could see Liz pacing across the living room, her smile dazed intent on her phone. You'd caught her just as she'd completed a turn. Behind you, the door clicked shut. The second she heard it, her head darted up to your direction, her features lighting up the sight of you and Cove. Ah, you've arrived, and together, too. That's perfect. Just perfect. She flashed you a radiant smile. You could almost see her limbs vibrating as if she were poised to pounce. Cove raised an eyebrow at your sister's bizarre behavior. What's going on? This better be important. You're in a good mood today. So what is it? Where is it? What are you going to show us? You quietly see what... You're in a good mood today. Liz hummed only playfully in response. Liz's eyes narrowed with a mischievous glint, and she let out a small little cackle. So, lately I've been hard at work on a little plan of mine, and you two get to see the honor of seeing it all come together. Here it is! Ta-da! She lifted up a hand in the air to present the very comfortable but completely mundane living room. The resulting silence, you and Cove glanced around again, and then made eye contact with each other. His face mirrored your bafflement. Then suddenly an inner voice rang out in the room.
Surprise!
Lay sigh. Cove flinched at the shout, his shoulders shooting up to his ears. Laughter came from your sister as well from the other side of the room. Yeah, so I was kind of disappointed to find out that this gentleman gets to be another part of our life, beginnings and always. But, for the first time, for the last time, ladies and gentlemen, Shiloh Fields. You had your up around just in time to see a familiar figure with a freckled face and a purple cap springing up from behind the back of the couch. Cove's mouth fell open, recognition immediately coming to him. Shiloh? Hi, Cove. Hi, Marina. Shiloh greeted the two of you so casually, like he'd been gone for 10 days rather than 10 years. You were too stunned to speak. What in the world are you doing here? You started laughing. But I thought you weren't the Shiloh we knew. You actually here. I thought you weren't the Shiloh we knew. The initial shock quickly wore off. You crossed your arms and leveled a look at the freckled face who had ditched you at the start of summer. He treated you and Liz like complete strangers. Shiloh shifted nervously, angling the brim of his hat down as if to hide it from your scrutiny. Liz tutted at your comment.
Rude.
Don't be rude. I'll explain. When we got home that day, I changed my mind about letting it go. Why did I have to? Social media exists, right? I wish it didn't. And I wish you didn't do this. This whole moment is unnecessary and, like, it's dredging up things in the past that no one wants dredged up because of your stupid inability to leave anything alone. This is the point in the game where I kind of stopped liking her character. Like, I liked her as a kid. And I liked her even as a teenager. I understood her. I wanted to understand her. And I personally wanted to, like, relate to Liz. But at this moment, I stopped liking Liz. So I thought, why not try finding him and sending him a little reminder message? Luckily, there was only so many 17-year-old Shiloh Fields in the world. It wasn't that hard to do. Like, this kid does not... You'll see. I'm gonna stop talking about this moment and spoiling everything. It's just... Like, this all feels unnecessary, and it's Liz being stupid because she can't leave anything alone. Hearing Liz speak seemed to encourage Shiloh, who pulled himself together to face you both you and your sister with a careful smile.
Sorry.
I'm really sorry about what happened. When you talked to me that first time, I was in the middle of a tour for a school field trip. I couldn't get separated from the group and didn't expect anyone to want to be talking to me. I was so worried about getting back to everyone else, I didn't think too hard on what you were saying. But when Lizzie's message showed up, everything suddenly hit me. Lizzie, Marina, Cove, you were the kids of Sunset Bird, back when I was a little kid. There's no way I could forget that, not for real. I do know all of you, and I'm so happy I get to see you again. I have Lizzie to thank for that. My mom was already planning to take a short trip near here this summer.
Well...
What was that? Compared to his other voice. Suddenly, he's got a different voice. If my mom could bring me along, Lizzie offered to pick me up and bring me the rest of the way here, just so I could visit the neighborhood again. And that's why I decided to make it a big reveal. Instead of outright telling you two, I got back in contact with Shiloh. Once again, she lifted a hand in the air, properly presenting that long-lost childhood friend you all shared. Okay, good. Nice to see you again, Shiloh. Thanks for coming by. So, ta-da! It was impressive how it all came together. Alright, still pretty stupid you not to realize sooner. You were glad they were able to see each other again. You were amused at their stunt. You were unsure what to feel about it. Yeah, you were unsure what to feel about it. That's a good way of putting it. You glanced between Liz's face and Shiloh's. The expectant smile she wore had you reflexively smiling back, but your heart wasn't in it. Remember, we didn't like Shiloh. We were trying to be friends with him, but he snubbed us and made it very clear he wasn't our friend, and he was only Lizzie's friend. In that one moment. So Marina didn't ever really like Shiloh. Cole blinked slowly, still a little dazed by everything that was going on.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm gonna get some water. Don't disappear or anything. He padded off to the kitchen. No need for a chaperone. He knew where the cups were. Wow, you really surprised him, Lizzie. And Marina, too. Did you see their face when I appeared? Yes, I did. Liz patted the cushion in front of the couch. Make yourself comfortable. You don't have to keep hunkering down behind there anymore. With a laugh, Shiloh crossed around the backside and took a seat, but maybe it was awkward being the only one sitting because he kept idly twiddling his fingers. You could hear him humming to himself, a nonsense tune with no real melody, something to keep his voice busy. Being here again could be more nerve-wracking for him than he let on. Your thoughts wandered to the last time you saw him here. And then something came up to you suddenly. Shiloh was using your right pronouns, but that wasn't what he knew you as when you were kids. Wait, what? I missed that. Did he use our right pronouns at some point? I'm just reading it and I didn't pay attention to that. It was so natural to be called that, you hadn't initially realized it was so out of place. You were so relieved he seemed aware of the change and had no problem adjusting to it. Oh, this is a whole thing where I guess Shiloh is the quintessential ultimate chameleon. And you wanted to leave it at that. You want to talk to him directly. I don't think she would be that curious about it, honestly. His silent understanding was enough for you. If it became an issue, you knew you could bring it up later. Cove's soft voice announced his return. He paused to drag back with his hand across his mouth, wiping away droplets of water lingered there. What XOXO droplets of water lingered there? Sorry, every time they put the word droplets, I'm not gonna think that. Especially in context of what we're doing in this moment. By the way, we made this other game. It's called XOXO Droplets, guys. Go play it. Hi, Shiloh. Welcome back. Cove's confused greeting. Shiloh laughed cheerfully. I kind of want to play it, though. Not gonna lie. From the way it's been described to me, I kind of want to play it. I hate these characters so much, and I want to see what happens. I hate myself. I think it's amazing you're all still here in this same neighborhood. It's just like how it was way back then. Shiloh sighed happily at the moment as Cove raised an eyebrow and gave them a considering glance. Yeah, like I said, I was gonna say earlier, like that thing there about, like, we could talk to Shiloh about our pronouns, but Marina's gonna choose to abstain from a lot of conversations in this moment, so it's probably gonna be kind of short. Hey, this is where we met the first time, remember? Right after I moved in, me and Marina were brought down right here to have a playdate with you. Yeah! Shiloh laughed and his eyes downcast as he fiddled with the corner of his collared shirt. We almost didn't meet in the living room because you wanted to jump out the window to get away from me. Oh yeah, he's gonna bring that back up because we did do that. Cove cringed at the memory of his younger self being pushed back to the forefront of his mind, his mouth going tight. He awkwardly looked away from Shiloh. Didn't we jump out the window? In this playthrough? Didn't we go out the window with Cove? I thought we did and Shiloh caught us anyway. You have a good memory. Or was that... Am I confusing that? Because I thought it was weird that you meet him outside. Anyway. I don't think so. Seeing this place again just brings lots of things back. He clasped his hands together, an idea suddenly coming to him. Jeez, you. Since I know what you are, this all makes sense to me. But hey, now that our group is together, would you want to go out and visit some of the old places? I've been hiding in the living room since I got here. Liz wasn't afraid to laugh at herself, bringing a hand to her chest silently to take blame for that. I'd love to. Yeah. Without missing a beat, the others turned to you for your answer. Definitely. Where to first? Why not? You nodded your son. You straight reply. You looked hesitant. Well, why not? It's a nice day out after all. And with that, the four of you headed out into the neighborhood as one. Even with how short the time you spent indoors was, the sun was momentarily blinding you once you left the house. Squinting, you brought your hand up to shield your eyes. The pleasant summer day had yet to go away. Only a few wispy clouds drifted along in the sky. I think the pleasant summer day is over, Marina. As you strolled down the way, Liz took the lead, followed by you and Cove walking side by side. Shiloh freely took to walking in the middle of the road, his arms idly swinging back and forth at his sides as he turned his head every which way to take in as much as he could. It was very much a trip down memory lane for him. You wondered how much the neighborhood had changed in his eyes. At least this moment will be over. Not a word passed between the group about where you were headed first, but soon enough you found yourselves walking the usual path to the shopping street. Don't we have to watch across the beach for this, usually? We skipped the whole beach scene? Before you reached, the sounds of it did. A collective sandals tracking sand, the shrill call of seagulls, the overlapping conversations of beachgoers, and random strains of music from various stalls. Wow! The odd gasp would come from Shiloh. His eyes were all lit up. Were there always so many different stores in one place?
Yeah,
of course. Wow, I can see why so many people come here. Hey, do they still have those nice little ice cream stands? Of course they do. Yay, we should get some. It'll be my treat. Thanks, Shiloh. Ice cream sounds perfect on such a hot day. How about you, Cove? You could see that, unlike Liz, Cove was struggling with that decision, brow wrinkled in thought. Finally, a hesitant smile appeared in his face as he settled on keeping the spirit of the special occasion. Yeah, sounds good to me. We could just, I don't know, there's probably gonna be better ones that we can do later. Awesome, and Marina? Oh, really? We have to keep making these choices? They keep putting my headphones have to keep disconnecting. Hope that's not affecting you. I'd rather pay for myself. I don't want any. I'd like that, thanks. I don't want one, but I'll pay for yours, Shiloh. I think this is weird if you have a complex about stuff. I'll buy one for me and one for you, Shiloh. I don't know. Like, I don't think Marina would be this kind of person that she would just completely snub him. So I guess she'll be polite. Like, I kind of almost want to pick that because... Yeah, actually, I'd rather pay for myself. Oh, alright then. Okay, I like this look on his face. Yeah, we're making it pretty clear we don't like you. The four of you continue to walk as ice cream plans are further discussed. Are you getting a popsicle, Lizzie? Yes. Hearing that, Shiloh smiled shyly. I thought you might still like that. I'm gonna get an ice cream cone. Shiloh began to turn towards Cove. Before he could ask, Cove offered up his choice. I'll get an ice cream sandwich. I'm gonna get... That's the only choices we got? Marina's a popsicle girl. I'm sorry. We're like our sister still to this day. Following in my footsteps. That's touching. Yep, then that's kind of why. You slowly shook your head at her like you might have a petulant child. You were allowed to get whatever treat you wanted. You still like those? Cool. Yep. I think we had one when we were younger, too. I think that was what we liked then, too. She likes fruit. Marina likes fruit flavors, in case you didn't get that. Usually when I pick stuff, I pick fruit flavors, like mango and pineapple and tropical stuff. There was an ice cream stall further up the street across from a souvenir shop displaying postcards of the seaside and saltwater taffy in its windows. The stand itself was already hard to miss with its pastel pinks and blues. Pinks and blues, and its eye-catching poster boards listing every individual flavor. It was impossible to ignore the catchy little jingle playing from its speakers was added. Once the catchy little jingle from its speakers was added. Went down to the sacred store where I heard the music years before, but the man there said the music wouldn't play. Shiloh greeted the owner and began picking out the treats that everyone had chosen. He paid for them before handing them out to their respective owners. You picked out your choice too and added that to your purchase. Sinking your teeth into your popsicle, you relish the sweet chill left in your mouth. Liz was right. This is the perfect treat for a summer day. See? Exactly that. So how do you eat your popsicles? Do you lick them until they're gone, or do you bite into them? I always bite into them. That is how I always will eat a popsicle, and I will never stop eating a popsicle that way. I had a popsicle recently, and I did that, and people were confused that I was doing that. And I was like, yeah, no, that is my thing. That is what I will die on this hill. Around you, everyone, because then you get to eat it. It doesn't melt on you, and you get to enjoy the flavor of it more. Like, you get that flavor burst when you bite into it. That's why. Anyway, around you, everyone was eating at their own pace. Liz held her popsicle away from herself, careful not to let it drip under her dress. Exactly. She was trying to go about eating it as delicately as she could while Shiloh dug into his. You could count only 2 or 3 bites before Cove devours a sandwich. Shiloh laughed, also noticing the way Cove inhaled his food. It's already finished. Cove shrugged a little in reply, his attention more focused on crumpling up the sandwich wrapper in his hand. So, what have you been doing around here since I've been gone? Well, I already told you about me attending college away from here, so I don't really live here anymore. But to be more specific on my life, I'm pursuing a degree in architecture. Shiloh perked up at that, his mouth falling open in awe. Amazing! Thanks. Actually, I was thinking about it the first time I decided I really like buildings. And building them was when you and I would make sandcastles out on the beach. Which is a sweet sentiment. They had a really good relationship as kids. It's crazy how tall she is. I'm glad they didn't make this man super tall as an adult. He's still short. Which is good, because... other reasons.
Aww.
Lizzie... At such a sincere admission from your sister, all Shiloh could do was blush and lower his head, too flattered to know what else to say. Liz laughed, as if flustered as though she had been the one to say it. The atmosphere was awkward, but not unpleasant. Shiloh slightly glanced over at you and Cove. Now, what about you two? What have you been up to? Me and Marina just graduated high school, I mean. I got a part-time job. I volunteer at this organization to clean stuff up, things like that. I mean, we do exactly the same thing, Cove. You nodded along with Cove. You idly explained how you're doing normal things. That's the secret. You explained how you had a lot of plans. I'm mainly taking it easy. You idly explained how you're doing normal things. You felt there wasn't anything super interesting to share about your life. What you cared about was important to you, but you knew it wasn't always the same for other people. Shiloh just seemed happy to hear it.
Great.
Being around him was a little like picking up an old forgotten habit, clunky at first. But the four of you talked, it started to come more naturally. No, really it isn't. She's not very happy that Shiloh is suddenly part of her life again, and she doesn't really want this at all. And when one of you ran out of things to say, suddenly someone else remembered something new. Oh, right, do you remember those mean old, not actually grandparents that used to live in our neighborhood? Yeah, they were so mean. Well, they're not here anymore. Oh, no. They're not spending summers here anymore. They're still alive. Thank goodness. It helped that Shiloh was just as eager to hear what had gone on in his absence as people were to tell him. Soon everyone threw out what trash they had in a nearby garbage can, and your group made their way down to the beach. Going there down to the shore inevitably led to a certain spot. It didn't take very long for Shiloh to recognize what was in the distance. His words trailed off in the middle of a sentence, his footsteps faltering at first. And then all at once he broke away from the group and dashed right into the old park, giggling as he ran. Oh, everything's so small. They have to say that every time they come here. I went to some parks and stuff. This is a tiny park. There's not much here. But it's all you have, right? And it's weird to me that it's all in the sand, but when you're in the beach town, that's what you get. His laughter petered out as he came to a stop by the swings and grabbed hold of one of the support poles. He walked in a little circle around it, marveling at how easily his hand wrapped around its entirety. Emboldened by Shiloh's enthusiasm, Liz plopped herself down on one of the swing sets, only to instantly show an expression of regret. There was no way she was comfortable in that tiny seat so low to the ground, not with how she had to scrunch her legs up to fit there. Shiloh creeped up behind her. He took hold of the chains on her swing, one in each hand. What are you doing? And with a grin, Shiloh started walking back. Liz shifted in her seat to look at him. You cannot be trying to push me. These are made for kids. It's never gonna work. But Shiloh just hummed and kept pulling her back. Resigning herself to her fate, Liz tucked her legs up as much as possible as Shiloh moved his hands to her back. I'm not really sure what his game is here. He's just trying too hard to be their friend and pick up lost memories, I guess. With a running start, he got her forward and up as far as he could go before jumping out of the way. Liz had her eyes squeezed shut, a screech escaping her as the swing started falling backwards, and when it swung back around, there was Shiloh again to push her. She couldn't kick the ground like when you were kids. Her legs were too long for that now, but Shiloh was pushing her up enough to keep his momentum going. The air was filled with their wild laughter and their almost rhythmic jangling of the swing chains. Cove sat against the bars of the jungle gym, wearing a bent smile as he watched them. He was fiddling with something, turning it over and over in his hands. When you craned your neck to get a better view, he obligingly lifted it for you to see. It was a piece of shell, one side rough and mottled gray, the other side completely smooth, revealing a faint blue sheen when it caught the light. It's louder now than it was last time I played, so this actually feels good. I guess these rays of light are in every moment. I always thought they were just in a certain moment. I guess I never really paid that much attention, but maybe this is always going on when it's sunny. I saw it on the beach. It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, it's a good one. No, I meant Shiloh. He seems more confident than I remember. I think so too. You found it amazing me playing with Shiloh at the park again. You thought it was crazy. Time had gone by. Why don't you push me on the swings like that? You left the conversation there. I mean, she doesn't think it's nice that Shiloh's there, and none of these options let you pick that, so I think she's going to change the subject to this. Cove narrowed his eyes at you, folding his arms with a bemused smile. Why don't you push me on the swings like that? If Shiloh can do it for Liz, then you can do it for me, too. What? You just gonna Uno reverse card me like that, bro? Really? Well, he had you there. Soon your sister began to speak out. Alright, I'm ready to get off now. How do you stop this? Don't worry! Shiloh braced himself, one foot planted forward as the swing started coming back down. Then in one quick motion, he reached up and caught the chains again, the impact of his feet skidding back on the sand, but he kept his stance steady. If Liz was surprised at suddenly being brought to a halt, she didn't show it, only tilting her head up to smile at him. Shiloh had yet to catch his breath, though he returned the smile just as brightly. He let go of the chains, walking around the swing set and briefly rubbing his hands together before offering one to Liz, which she gracefully accepted, needing to help get out of the tiny seat. Then the two of them made their way back over to you and Cove. Liz was looking more ruffled than usual. Her sun hat was off kilter, having held on for dear life the entire ride. She took a moment to straighten her outfit back into place. I still like sitting on the swings as an adult, but I'm shorter than Liz and all these other characters, except maybe Shiloh, so... I wouldn't have much I don't have much trouble doing it. That looked fun. It was. Even though you were just pushing me out of swings. Yep, that was the fun part. Hey Shiloh, you got an idea what our lives have been like since you've been gone, but I've been wondering what happened to you after you moved away. Shiloh's eyes went wide. Yeah, here we go. As if it was surprising to hear, you couldn't recall him talking about himself when you were all telling stories, but maybe he hadn't been able to find the right timing. He brought his hand up to his chin, tapping it thoughtfully as he looked up and to the side. Well, what happened was my mom decided to move back to the south, closer to where I was born. I mean, maybe, actually, Shiloh might actually have kind of an accent. Nah, people don't always develop an accent. We stayed there for a few years until she got another job offer in California again, thanks to a connection she had here. Oh, that's right, he lives in California. It was a really good job at a private boarding school, so she decided to take it. With a wide grin, he said the next part. And as a bonus, her kid, me, gets to attend the school and live in the dorms for free. I've been there since my second year of middle school. Pretty soon, I'm going to be starting my last year of high school. Liz leaned towards him with an attentive smile on her face. Have you been doing well there? Getting good grades? Got any friends? The list of questions, Shiloh held his hands in front of himself as if they were physical things he could stave off.
Yeah.
To everything. It can be a little hard sometimes because of how people are in that school, but I'm happy. How people are? Cove couldn't guess what that meant, but Liz folded her arms, scowling. It's XOXO Droplets, guys! Don't tell me there's more people like that. Nate guy hanging around. Shiloh rubbed at his cheek, laughing nervously. He glanced from the bars of the jungle gym to the laces of his shoes to the trees swaying in the distance, unsure of where to rest his gaze. Not exactly. Nate doesn't mean to be mean. He just kind of is. He's the school's #1 performer for athletics and academics. He always takes on so much responsibility that the only possible way he can finish it all is if absolutely nothing goes wrong. But that's impossible, and he's always stressed and ready to snap. He can't handle it when someone seems to be causing a problem. So there's Nate's backstory. But that's why during the field trip he was upset when I went off on my own like that. Still, he's really smart and reliable and sensitive, and he cares a lot. Most of the time, he doesn't even realize his way of dealing with stuff upsets other people. Boy, imagine if your way of dealing with stuff upset other people, huh? Who does that sound like? Pot called... Hey, Pot, meet Kettle. Cove had a patient smile on his face, listening earnestly as Shiloh rattled off his list of Nate's good traits. You know him pretty well. Are you actually friends? Well, not exactly. Me and Nate are in the same after-school group, and the plot of XOXO Droplets. About once a month, me and 6 other students and a supervisor get together to talk. We did it all last year, and I think next year we're going to be in the same group again with the new main character. I hope so. Nice. That's weird. Why would you want me in a group with him? I guess Nate's not so bad at all. After all, you didn't comment on it. Yeah. Non-verbal Marina, ladies and gentlemen. She doesn't care. Or would she say that's weird? No. Personally, I'd still appreciate having a word with Nate about his communication skills. Her tone of voice was low and pointed. You'd be worried for Nate if not for the playful smile that accompanied her words. Shiloh let out a little laugh at that. I do have Nate's number, but he wouldn't pick up. The people in my group only answer when they feel like hearing from me, so I usually have to wait for them to call. Either that or they never even consider answering my calls, or calling me, or talking to me at all, unless the supervisor forces them to. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, imagine that. It was such a bleak description of his dynamic with his group, but he didn't seem to realize it until he glanced up and saw the concerned looks on everyone's faces. Oh, this is, if I have to pick one, this is the best one. This defines the entire moment very well. His smile fell. He hastened to add one more thing. Well, except for one who will always answer for sure. Oh. She immediately perked up.
Really?
So, that's a friend of yours? He hesitated to answer, something Cove picked up on. Not exactly. Yeah, I'd like to be friends, though. Alright. Liz crossed her arms together. Would you, though? Once more, grim-faced like she was the commander of a ship about to lead a crew into battle. You should call them, right now. What? If you want to be friends with them, I can help. If you're going to be in the same group again, then you should at least try to get along. This garbage! This garbage! You were just... You and your frickin', like, battering ram to batter this moment along. I tell you, I hate you in this moment, Liz. You're the second worst character in this moment. No, I couldn't. He quickly grew flustered, his tongue stumbling over his sentences. I don't want to be a bother.
I mean...
Liz, what are we gonna do? Watch him while he talks to someone on the phone? No, Cove. Shiloh. The last syllable of Shiloh's name trailing off into nothing, it soon became clear that Liz had not fully thought out the plan yet, but she wouldn't be Liz if she just stopped there. This face, though. Jamaican patois, that face. Jeez. Shiloh, could put them on a video call, and we could all talk together, of course. She clasped her hands together, a wide smile on her face that didn't leave room for dissenting opinions.
All right.
It's a good idea. It'll work. It's a great idea. It's a terrible idea. Cove's right. You had no words for that. Cove's right. It doesn't make sense for us to crowd around Shiloh while he's on the phone. That's not how you make friends. Cove smiled at you, relieved to see that someone else was seeing reason too. Come on, Shiloh. We'll just talk to them. Say we're your friends from out of town. The worst that could happen is nothing changes. But once they have more chances to talk to you, I know they'll be convinced to be better friends. It's going to turn out okay. Shiloh stalled to answer. His hand was already hovering over one of his pockets of his pants. Alright, we can talk. Yes. Liz clenched a hand into a fist, cheering as Shiloh officially reached into the pocket and pulled out his phone. You noticed it was the same type of model as your own, but it had a red case around it. The screen lit up and Shiloh requested a video call with some number in his contacts. None of them on the list had names. He must remember what numbers belong to what person. Man, I couldn't do that. I have to do that sometimes because I don't like to... Well, I say that, but I don't put names in my phone a lot unless I know it's someone I'm going to talk to a lot, but... Then I forget the number. And I don't remember who's calling me when people call me. He inched closer to the three of you so everyone could hear better. Vaguely, you wondered how this looked from the outside. 4 teenagers on the verge of adulthood hanging out in an old playground, all huddled up around a single phone. Strange? Suspicious? Yes? The ringing of the phone broke out of your musings. You kept your eyes on it, your heart's beating at the end of each dial tone, thinking, could this be it? Only to have another start up. I know that feeling. It had been ringing for a while when you started to think of what Cove had said about all you watching as Shiloh talked on the phone. Maybe even that wouldn't happen. Shiloh could sense the awkwardness in the air, smiling as if to dispel it. This is normal, don't worry. Just as he said it, the call ended, never even going to voicemail. Shiloh clicked to redial. He never answers in the first call. He always does that on the second. That's how he is, at least with most people. There are exceptions. You, Liz, and Cole furtively shared ambiguous looks, none of you wanting to accidentally discourage Shiloh. Then you focused on the phone again as it started to ring once more. The jingling suddenly cut off in the middle, followed by the faint sound of white noise. With a big smile and flushed cheeks, Shiloh brought the phone up to his face. A voice, low and groggy, came raspy out of the speakers. Hello. Shiloh, on the other hand, was much more chipper.
Hi.
I'm visiting a town I used to live in when I was little, and I want to introduce my group mate to the people I knew back then. Some of them have already met Nate. Can you say hey to them too? And with that rushed introduction, Shiloh stuck the phone out towards Cove, gesturing for him to greet the person on the other end. Although Cove hadn't been on board in the beginning, the only indication of that now was the lopsided tilt of his smile. He turned his gaze down to the screen, opening his mouth to speak, only to stutter to a complete stop. Huh? All Cove could do was sputter and gape at the screen. His reaction had Shiloh's brow crinkling in worry. What? Shiloh's groupmate didn't sound particularly impressed with how this conversation was going so far. Shiloh frowned, retracting his arm away from Cove. As he did so, the screen tilted towards you and you caught a glimpse of what was on the screen. Da-da-da-da-da! Light green hair, sharp orange eyes, shadowed with bags, and icy pale skin all tied together to make up the scowling face of a person who clearly had no desire to be here. Now, to be fair, if my friend who's playing this game also hadn't explained to me who this was at first, I would never have gotten it, because it doesn't look like the same person, but I get it. They say it, so. You had no idea what was going on. Yeah, I don't think Marina would remember or care. Cove still couldn't take his wide eyes off the phone. He spoke now in a very small voice, almost a squeak. Jeremy? Yeah? Da-da-da-da-da. I'm tempted to leave this here and have this be a two-parter. Oh, I think so. We'll see you next time. For more No. It's either going to be a two-parter or it's going to be really long. Huh. Yeah, we'll see you next time for more Our Life Beginnings and Always.